But through the course of my life, I've lived with one simple philosophy, and that is, if I'm not passionate about it, I don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that we're here for a short time in
Mm-hmm.
terms of our evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, I don't follow or subscribe to the philosophy that I have to, go get a good education, find a good pensionable job, find a partner, have 2.2 kids, and then work for 30, 40 years so that I can buy things to show off to my neighbors, my families, and coworkers,
Mm-hmm.
and then pretend like I'm going to enjoy the fruits of my labor at 65, but then realize that I've developed cancer and now I'm not going to live anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any judgment about it. It's just not for me. I've always believed in living a life of passion. And I've always subscribed to two principles. Number one, that I was going to be better than I was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, that I'm going to leave this place a little better than when I found it.
Those are really great principles to live. When's the earliest time you can think of, or you can remember that those came to you and you started to live by them, or you understood that you were maybe subconsciously living by them?
Yeah, great question. I think what I found interesting is that I think I always did that, because when I was in my teens and 20s, Mauro, I was a baker, I was a construction worker, I was a florist, I was a travel agent. I worked for Coca-Cola. I was in the restaurant business. I was a bouncer. I worked in clubs and in bars. I was a bartender. I was a maitre d'. I was an expediter. I mean, I literally was in constant search of something that I was passionate about. And part of the credit to this is a woman who is still alive and still teaching at OISE at U of T. She was a professor that I had in college. Her name is Dr. Celia Karsten. She's a doctor in holistic education. And it was when I came back from my first trip to Thailand. I've been to Thailand 6 times. I've lived there for 2 years. I speak the language quite fluently. And when I got back from my first trip of living 1 full calendar year in Thailand, she got me to do a project for her, because she was implementing a new course into the 3rd year marketing program at Seneca. And she was going to name it Careers in Marketing. I don't think it ever stuck, that name. But basically what she did, Mauro, was she told me that she wanted me to write an e-portfolio. And she wanted to talk about all my experiences that I had from graduating marketing in 98 and all the things that I had done up until I came back from Thailand. And what this provided me was an opportunity to see why these principles were important to me. Because essentially what I did was I looked at all the jobs that I'd had and said, what did I really love about them? And what didn't I love about them? So when I was in the restaurant business, Mauro, I loved it. It was awesome. I got to deal with people. People were there whining and dining, and they were happy. And I would provide this experience where they came into my place and they loved being there. You know what I hated about the job? That Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, you were working, man. If you had a birthday, I couldn't even come to your birthday because I knew I'd be working.
Yep. That was an experience for me. Like, I feel like a lot of social ties are disconnected because people just stop asking you to come out because they know that you're busy from Thursday to Saturday, Sunday, when they're 100%. The ones going out. Right. I can relate to that.
Yeah. So that's really where it started. And that's why I decided that I was going to make Muay Thai a career. And I always tell a funny story about my Italian mom who said to me, "Ma, excuse me, but can't you go get a normal job? Can't you be a doctor or a lawyer?" She said, "You know what? You talk a lot. You should be a politician because you'd probably be really good as a politician." And I said, Mom, I'm going to go live in Thailand. And she said, "China?" And I said, "Close." I said, "Mom, I love to do this. What do you tell an 80-year-old mom that you have a job and that you love a job that punches people in the face and you teach other people to punch other people in the face?" Right?
Yeah.
But when the school opened in 2005 and she saw my passion, Mauro, she would come to the school and tell my students to beat me up because she would get great pleasure watching them. So I got to tell you that it was a wonderful journey, and of course, the journey of martial arts has taken me all over the world. I've had the pleasure of training with some of the greatest martial artists on this globe that floats through space.
Mhm.
I even had an opportunity to sit down and have Vietnamese soup with Bruce Lee's #1 student, Guru Dan Inosanto.
Mhm.
I've had the pleasure of living 10 days with Jean-Charles Skarbowski, who was featured on The Ultimate Fighter season 5, episode 12, when
Mhm.
George St. Pierre was coach with Josh Koscheck.
Mhm.
And just the journey, the career has been what I call illustrious.
Mhm.
I loved what I did every day. And I saw people come in that had jobs. And for me, jobs was an acronym for just over broke.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
said, I do what I love every day. Now, through that journey, I went through a dark period. And I called out to the universe or God or whatever you want to call it. And I said, I don't know why all of this is happening to me, but I need help. And I was given help in finding an orthopedic surgeon from South Africa who gave up her 7-figure practice to be a guide, a teacher, and a healer with an esoteric school in Toronto. And what ended up happening is one of the men that was at the helm of this was a bodyguard of the Dalai Lama, was a Buddhist monk, and so I was totally engulfed in metaphysical or esoteric occult studies. And I got a lot of slack from it because a lot of people said, oh my God, this is some kind of cult. What are you guys doing? To be honest with you, it didn't care, because what it provided me, Mauro, was an opportunity to look within myself. So when I decided to go on this path of being a coach, I said, I've spent 25 years learning how to master the movement of the physical body in the most efficient way. But the journey, the true journey, is the journey of self.
Mhm.
Many masters who have walked this planet have said, you're actually not here to learn anything, but you're here to remember who you are, to remember who you are, and that you're going to spend the next 70, 80, 90 years of your life moving closer and closer to who your higher self, or living what we call in the metaphysical world your higher self here in the physical realm. And I know that's a bit of hoo-ha, but the truth is, Mauro, is that I don't think that there's any other reason to be alive. Is that just to remember who you are, and then once you remember, to help others remember who they are.